Right. So I wasn't very creative with my name title, but I named my village or town Lizzie Town. The reason why I picked this was because of the dense forest in the area, and that you can get a lot of fruits and vegetables from the plants and trees around them. Also, they could make houses out of the mushrooms and like old oak, like cut down stumps, so they could populate. Yes. Okay. So here I have 2 classes. I really didn't want in my society there really is only 2 classes because they feel in my village or town that it needs to only have 2 sets of people, because you have noble and then you have just like people who are not nobles. It's common sense here for them and everyone else. So this is the upper class. It has a meter, a range area. It has everything. It has stairs. It will have flowers, as you can tell. It has even a fountain, so you can tell they're a little richer. So they can put water down in the pipes. Because they are smart and they put like pipes down. Yeah. Then you go to, after you enter this big huge thing of a door, you walk through the very upper class village, and then you walk through this door, and then you go into the lower class, which is not as clean or as organized as upper class, but still has a small community. The lower class mainly stands of free men, not necessarily slaves, but servants to noblemen, and guards and stuff like that. But guards mainly live in the trees, which they just kind of live in between. Okay, so as you can, they have a prettier view because they are set down in the lower areas of the forest. Higher areas of the forest, sorry. And these are set in the lower areas because they would rather have the lower class get eaten or stepped on by the humans, not the noblemen. So that's how I kind of put it. That's why this one has a sunset and this one just kind of like has a tree or a dense forest around it. Should have a dense forest around it. Also, when each class has to follow rules. So the upper classmen can't interfere with any of the lower classmen's business unless you are their employer or you are, say, a guard. They have to command to a higher power, like their employer. So the only people who can interfere in interactions with both sides would be like a royal family or a noble that is higher than the rest of the nobles. So that's the only way they can interact with conflict in the two classes. The lower class has to ask permission to be able to go into the higher class, and even then the higher class does have to ask permission, but they don't necessarily have to get it, but it is still, it's a free kind of you ask permission here, everyone respects everyone kind of. Even if you are lower class, no one's gonna treat you like dirt. It's more like, you're my employee, I'm going to treat you like this. Now, I'm gonna treat you fairly, but it's going to go around evenly free. So, some of the rules besides that is that, for example, if one person of maybe a noble sneaks into the other place without being detected or anything like that, and say 5 weeks later they get caught, they can be put in jail time for an amount of time that they stayed in that place without having permission. and or if they harm someone in the process of not being in the other class, then they have, well, you go to jail, you're sentenced to death. It's, you harm another fairy, it's death, pretty much, so. Let's see. Also, each class has 3 strikes, but it's not to like get kicked out. It's more or less to be like you get a certain sentence if you make trouble for a while. Like 3 strikes, you're out. You get demoted from a certain noble to a lower class of a noble. If you're noble by blood or by marriage. By marriage is different in my town. If you are by marriage and you're noble, then you can be automatically demoted to a servant if you get 3 strikes. Similar thing to the lower class. The lower class, if you get 3 strikes, you get to be put on more extra shifts. You have to work harder than everyone else, and you have to do the extra labor that no one wants to do. Also, each part of the classes has one building that is like kind of like the governor almost of that small little area. So like this one, I put it differently, and it's higher up. So these are the governor's houses, and these are the lower houses for the other nobles. And then this one is this one, because it's a little different, has a different window than everyone else. And it's also closer to the well that I put in there. So the only downfall that happens in my town is that they have to always ask permission to get water, because their well doesn't necessarily work as well as the fountain does. And that when it comes to houses, they don't have a lot of them because it's very limited so they have to keep people kind of like on a schedule almost. So there's a lot of people in one house to keep on going, so everyone has a schedule. So pretty much it's kind of like just to kind of keep peace. So